Heath Ledger's Joker is, without a doubt, one of the greatest performances of the 21st century in film. Few come close. But when someone has one role that they're so well known for, and that too coupled with such an intense tragedy, it tends to cast a shadow over their career. It's worth taking a moment to appreciate Heath Ledger's entire career, which started when he was in his early teens. By the time he passed away at 28, he had appeared in nearly 20 movies and had put in several years working on TV shows. And that's where he got his start, as so many do. His first role was for 1992's Clowning Around, a TV movie. Ledger was quick to establish himself, focusing on TV for around half a decade. In 1993, he landed a few episodes in Ship to Shore, but by 1996 was one of the main cast in Sweat, an Australian drama series where he appeared for 26 episodes. In 1997, he was on two shows, Home and Away, an Australian soap opera that's been running for an astounding 37 seasons, and Roar, a fantasy show where Ledger finally secured a lead role, though the show did not last long. In 1997, he also made his feature film debut in Black Rock, an Australian film based on a play that was based on a 1989 murder. The film marks a turning point for Ledger, as film did for so many in his era. It's taken for granted now that movie stars will also do TV shows, like Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson did in True Detective, or as Paul Giamatti did for John Adams. But this is a new occurrence. It used to be the case that if you did TV and made the move into film, that's where you would stay. That was the case for Heath Ledger, who, besides doing the usual marketing for TV shows, would remain on the big screen for the rest of his life. And it made sense. The guy was handsome and charming and on his way to becoming a massive star. In 1997, he landed his first starring role in a movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, a rom-com where he acted opposite Julia Stiles. The film got solid reviews and was a commercial success on its tiny budget, and it helped turn Ledger, who was described as effortlessly charming, into a star overnight. From this point onward, Ledger would almost always be a leading man. His next film was 1999's Two Hands, which also got solid reviews. And in 2000, he was in the first movie that I ever saw him in, The Patriot, alongside Mel Gibson. The movie was a moderate critical success and more than doubled its budget, and is, frankly, a personal favorite. The Revolutionary era of the United States is a fascinating time, and there isn't enough movies or TV shows based on it. Next was A Knight's Tale, a movie where Ledger was more of an active participant than in The Patriot, where, to be fair, most actors got lost in Mel Gibson's shadow. Despite not getting great reviews, it probably made its money back and is a fun jaunt. 2001's Monsters Ball is like the opposite of A Knight's Tale, a serious romantic drama where Ledger plays Sonny Grotowski, a corrections officer who meets an unfortunate end. Ledger got acclaim for his performance, and the movie would help Halle Berry win an Oscar. His next few movies mostly flew under the radar, 2002's The Four Feathers and 2003's Ned Kelly and The Order. But 2005 saw him in one of his most important roles, as Ennis Del Mar opposite Jake Gyllenhaal's Jack Twist in Brokeback Mountain. It was a landmark film for its portrayal of gay characters on screen and cleared nearly $180 million at the box office against a tiny $14 million budget. The movie and the performances by Ledger and Gyllenhaal won universal acclaim, with Ledger getting a nomination for Best Actor at the Academy Awards and Ang Lee winning it for Best Director. The movie was also favored to win Best Picture, but lost to Crash, a massive upset. Still, if nothing else, it cemented Ledger's legacy as one of the best actors of his generation. The Brothers Grimm, where he acts opposite Matt Damon, was certainly no Brokeback Mountain, either at the box office or in reviews, much of which can probably be attributed to interference by producers Bob and Harvey Weinstein. The director, Terry Gilliam, might be a lot of things, but a bad director is not one of them. The man rarely misses where direction is concerned. Also in 2005, he was in Casanova, where he plays the titular Giacomo Casanova. Ledger is an effortlessly charming Casanova, as one would expect, though reading a biography of the man makes one thing certain: any movie is far too short to capture such a fascinating life. His last movie of 2005, he had 4 releases that year, was Lords of Dogtown, which did not do well. 2006's Candy got similar treatment. But 2006 is important for another reason. It's when Ledger was cast as the Joker in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, which would release 2 years later. Nolan had wanted to work with Ledger over the years, even meeting Ledger to play Batman in Batman Begins, though at the time, Ledger was not interested in superhero movies, saying, quote, "I would just feel stupid and silly. I couldn't pull it off, and there are other people who can perfectly, but I just couldn't take myself seriously," end quote. People were upset, to say the least, when they first saw that he was cast. People thought that there was no way that he would be better than Jack Nicholson, or wondering why the pretty boy was cast as the Joker. But once he got the role, Ledger threw himself into it, secluding himself for 6 weeks in a hotel room and crafting what would become the version we saw on screen. His method and dedication deserves a video unto itself, so for now, it'll suffice to say that Ledger's efforts paid off. In 2007, he was in I'm Not There, which, alongside being a critical success, is a somber film. This would be the last movie released while Heath Ledger was alive. He played Robbie Clark, which, for the movie's purpose, is supposed to be one aspect of Bob Dylan's life and persona, the ostensible framing for the experimental film. On January 22, 2008, Heath Ledger died due to an overdose of prescribed medication. He was 28. There was an outpouring of grief for Ledger, who had pretty much avoided controversy or scandal. Half a year after his passing, The Dark Knight premiered to universal acclaim, with Ledger, in particular, being singled out for praise. It's not just a great comic book movie, it's a great movie bar none, and one of the genuine masterworks of the 21st century. It would win Heath Ledger a posthumous Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. The final film he was in was The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, directed by Terry Gilliam. In just a decade of making movies, Heath Ledger had played a range of characters, each of which he pulled off seemingly effortlessly. But that he almost never had a bad performance shows just how much of a skilled, dedicated actor he was behind the scenes. It's unfortunate when someone who has so much to offer has their life cut short, but we can at least take solace in the fact that Heath Ledger's performances will endure as long as there are screens to play them. He may be perfectly captured in amber, but there's always something to learn from someone who squeezed so much life into such a short amount of time.